Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready?
Give it to me. Hit it.
I saw you were with them last night. I saw you were with them last night.
Yeah, that's Don't Burn the Bridge, Burn the Paper by Engaging Time, coming to a venue near you next year, calendar year 2025. Sean, I'm going to be hitting the streets next year. We're going to try to do maybe 15 to 20 shows around the area, and we'll see how that goes. That's a lot. That's half the year, you know. And just to, and Sean, you've done radio, but you've seen Kelly do some stuff, and you know what it's like to have to prepare for a show. How much time do you think it's going to take from the beginning of going to whatever venue is to setting up to doing this thing? Give a sense of, from your experience, what kind of timeline I'm talking about when I do my thing.
Yeah, it's kind of double the time you're going to be on the stage. So, because you have to go, you have to set up your equipment, you have to do your sound checks, you have to kind of play through and test and even experiment some. So. Yep.
And play some songs before I'm actually on stage to make sure everything's working properly. So, yeah, it's the last show I did. I think it was from beginning to end. It was a 3-hour show. It was probably 7 hours because I went into the office to rehearse for a little bit. Then I pack up the car. Then I go. Then I unpack. And thank God I had Trevor with me. And then by the time the show was over, I had no voice left. I had no energy left. And I still had to pack up. And again, thank God for Trevor. Still had to pack up and then kind of chill out for a bit and then drive it back, unpack everything, and then go home. So, yeah. So welcome back, everybody. This is your Insurance Corner at WLCB 101.5 FM, Slade's Corner, Wisconsin. I'm here with the one of my good friends and somebody I respect who does live on the other side of the fence, but we are friends nonetheless. And Sean Hauser, Merry Christmas to you and your family as we come up to the holiday.
Merry Christmas to you too, Bill. I mean, it's this year's been fun, and every year I think we get to this point and we talk about, you know, the past year and everything we've gone through. And the year before, you played at my wedding, and yeah, Merry Christmas to you and Sally and all the kids.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to get to our messages in a few minutes, folks, but I want to continue this process of what we do when we're considering buying stuff. And I'm going to now lean on the employer when you're doing it in the employer space. So somebody like me is going to, let's say Sean's the employer. I'm going to go to the employer after I've gone shopping. And let me back up a second. Even before I go shopping, I'm going to consult with Sean and say, what do you want? What kind of things are you looking for? And then give him some ideas of some things to think about insofar as other opportunities, creative approaches to things. And the bigger the company, the more creative you can get. That's a fact. I hate to, there's no two ways around it, folks. When I'm dealing with a group with only 3 people, I don't have a lot of choices. I don't have a lot of tools in my toolbox. If I'm dealing with a company with 300 employees, I got all kinds of things I can do. Creative, not so creative, cookie cutter, not so cookie cutter, lots of different ways to approach a problem to have a solution in place for an employer so that they can offer benefits they can afford, and they're proud to say, yes, I'm on board with these things. So when I sit with an employer, we first do the dog and pony in terms of what do you want, how do you want this to look. Sometimes it's pretty much rudimentary. We just want to do what we're doing right now. We don't want to change anything. Okay, cool. You go shopping to the marketplace. You find the markets that are available for that particular market segment, whether it's small group or medium-sized group or larger groups. And then you come back with your proposal. Does the employer, Sean, really know what they're buying? What do you think?
Sometimes I don't think so. I think that they have the price problem many times over than just the consumer, because they've got to cover all of their employees. They've got to cover all of these belly buttons, as we call them. And I think a lot of times they're trying to do the best they can, minimize their cost, and hopefully can find a decent package. So, yeah, I don't think they do.
You're spot on. Cost is still 80-90% of it. What are my rates going up this year? When I'm able to deliver a single-digit increase, you can hear the sigh of relief coming out of my clients' offices going, oh, thank God, it's only a 5% increase. Thank you. Let's move on. We're not doing anything. We'll make adjustments in terms of contributions. We're not making any changes. We're good to go. In my world, there's a we call it the 10% rule. If the plan does take a 10% or more increase, you have to think real hard about why are we moving? Because when you move, you have to stop production and have all your employees stop and pay attention, which isn't a bad thing, don't misunderstand, but you are not only stopping for a 10%, increase, or you're changing for a 10% increase, but now you have to stop production, and sometimes that could be a problem. And there are some clients who won't allow their employees to make their decisions during the working hours because it stops production. They can't do it. And the bigger you get these things called onboarding platforms that make the decision-making process a little easier from the employer's perspective because there's no paper floating around. Everything's on the computer, and the employee can start to pick, hit buttons and choose the plans that they want, but they're going to focus on what's it cost, not what my deductible is, not what the copay is, what's it cost. Even for the heavier user, it's still going to be what's it going to cost me. And if you're only making $35,000 or $40,000 a year and you're faced with a 30% rate increase in your contributions, that is going to be a world of hurt, and people are going to go, I think I'm going to take a pause, I'll take a chance, I'm not going to have health insurance this year, and move on. But there are other benefits that people set aside even after they make a decision on their health insurance. Health insurance is admittedly the first topic of hand. But I would tell you folks that the most important benefit on the table isn't the health insurance. It's the disability insurance. Because if you get sick and you can't work and you're not making money, you got a problem. And that disability benefit is going to help pay 60 or 70% of your income, whether it's taxable or tax-free, is dependent on who's paying for it. If your boss is paying for it, it's taxable. Then you don't have to think about it. It's automatically baked into your program. It's free to you. That's a good thing, but it's taxable, the benefit. If it's voluntary, which means you have to pay for it, that means the benefit's tax-free if it's structured correctly. And people look at that, Sean, and they're going, I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm not going to worry about it. It won't happen to me. Folks, I have a 26-year-old single male in a client's office of mine who said no to all of the benefits. I don't know who this person is. I've not met him. But he's 26 with stage 4 stomach cancer. Did not buy health insurance, did not buy life insurance, did not buy disability insurance. And to the credit of the employer, they're helping as much as they can, but there's not much they can do. They can't add them to the policy retroactively. Disability is the most important one. Don't look at that disability column as I don't get it, or it's got a pre-existing condition clause in it, which those can have. And because it's got a pre-existing, I'm not going to buy it. Well, most pre-existing condition clauses, folks, are only a year. And if you can get through the policy for 1 year, everything's covered. Everything is covered. And it doesn't matter if you switch companies the next year, you're grandfathered in. You've satisfied your waiting period, your elimination period, your pre-existing condition clause period. You satisfied it. But getting into the weeds, Sean, they still don't know what they're buying. They have no idea. And this is where communication comes in, and whether you're doing it through an onboarding system or doing it through face-to-face, and I've done both. And when we do the onboarding, I usually do a video. And depending on the number of moving parts, it could be anywhere from a half-hour video to an hour because there's so many different moving parts to the program. And that's a lot. There's no two ways about it. But you're buying something that's very important, which is to protect your life, your health, and your income. And if you add in your dental, your oral hygiene, if you add in your vision, you're protecting your eyes. There are different ways to finance these things for sure. But I can't implore you enough to pay attention to some of the details, and if you can't find the details because they weren't provided to you in the onboarding system, ask for help. That's what the broker does for the employer. Ask for help. That's what they get paid to do. Sean, when you guys enrolled, what was your enrollment like? What did you have to go through?
The same questions, but this year it was presented as they weren't making any material changes to the offerings. There was a rate increase, and but they said, if you didn't make any changes, that what you had this year, they would roll you into next year. The only thing you really had to do is sign up for your HSA account or your Flex accounts.
Okay, so. And I agree with all of that. If it's an automatic enrollment, that's good. You don't have to do anything. But that may be a good time just to reassess. And since you're not making any changes, take a couple minutes to look and see what you're doing. Now, if you're a user, you kind of know the moving parts, and you've either by hook or by crook or by accident found out that you can do one thing or not another, or this is covered and that's not, or I thought that was a copay thing and I found out now it's a deductible thing. There are things you can do to manage some of that risk. Don't just go, okay, I'm going to take a $30 a month pay cut because the premiums are going up by $30 and everything's staying the same. What if your doctor's not in the network? It's possible. Doctors come and go out of networks all the time. In fact, here in Chicago, Sean, there's a network called Advocate, which is for those of you in the area, Lutheran General, Condell, Good Samaritan, Christ Hospital, a bunch of other ones, Good Shepherd out in Barrington, evidently in September, Blue Cross and Advocate had a falling out in one of their HMO programs. They didn't tell anybody until the end of November that this was happening. So think about this. You're a patient with an Advocate provider. You're going through some serious medical issues, right? You're going through some serious medical issues. And now you're told that network is no longer available, which means your doctor that you're working with has to be changed. How do you feel about that?
I'm not happy, to say the least.
Especially if you're going through cancer treatment or a high-risk pregnancy. High-risk pregnancy, good luck trying to find an OBGYN in your third trimester that's willing to take the risk on delivering your baby if they hadn't been treating you from day one. Good luck. But some people had to go through that. And Blue Cross, in this case is Blue Cross, they didn't tell anybody until the end of November. You know how I found out, Sean? I found out on Facebook. I was having a conversation with somebody who was complaining that they were losing their Advocate provider as of January. And I'm looking at this going, no, that's impossible. I'm a broker. That nobody said anything about this. And then an algorithm popped up from Blue Cross, and they put it out that they said, Bill, read this. And I read it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? I was livid. The next day I had a conversation with my Blue Cross rep going, what the bejesus were you guys thinking? Do you not do like blast emails to say, hey, this has to happen? That's all you had to do. I don't want to hear. You know what their answer was? We put it on our website.
Well, a lot of places that they have that, it's in their policy that says if we're going to notify you of any changes, here's how you see it. Written on the side of a building down on 133rd, 12th Street or whatever, or it's on our website. Remember, it used to be you had to publish notifications in the local newspaper and things? I mean, who gets a local newspaper every day anymore? So now it's odd how this. Well, that's a different field, but yeah, I could understand that.
It's just nuts. So I can't implore you enough. Just dig into the weeds a little bit. And if you're afraid because it's complicated, I totally get that. So ask for help. Ask for somebody who does this for a living like me every day that is able to walk you through and, dare I say, dumb it down for you so that you can understand the basics of it. You don't want to know what I know in my head. You're going to get lost. But you definitely want to know something so that you have a basic understanding of the moving parts. So we're going to end it there, Sean. I've got a couple of notes here that I want to just share with our listeners, and then I'll let you tell me what you're thankful for. So without further ado, if you don't mind, I'll go first.
You do.
So my first thankful moment is I'm thankful for my beautiful wife, Sally, and my best friend, Sally Jean Biltman Miksch. 33 years ago, back in May of 1991, we joined hands to share a life together. It has not been peaches and cream, folks, but I love my Miss Sally. She's a wonderful human being. She's a great mom. And through all the good times and bad, she's been my rock. Sometimes she throws the rock at me, but that's okay. And we like to say that she is the engineer of the family. She has put up with me through all these years, but through all those years, I continue to say, I love my Miss Sally. I have 4 wonderful kids that I'm thankful for. They're all young adults now, professionals in their own way, maturing, going through the process of life, and they're youthful age and figuring things out. But you know what's kind of cool now, Sean, is that now they're coming to us for advice. So that's pretty cool. I'm thankful for my health. I like to say, Sean, that while my birth certificate says one thing, I'm still 28, and in my mind, I'm still 28. My knees and my hip might not agree with me, but I'm still 28 until further notice. And I often say to my clients, I can't die before the rest of you people. I got to take care of you all. And to a person, Sean, they all say, please don't. We need you. And so to that end, I thank my clients for wrapping themselves around me and having trust in me to deliver the stuff that I do for them. So I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for my clients. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my guitar because it gives me peace of mind. And one last thing. I want to wish all of you happiness and success that you desire this coming Christmas Eve and New Year's. Have a wonderful Merry Christmas to my friends, my family, my clients, and people that I haven't seen for a long time, but I wish you a very Merry Christmas, a healthy, happy New Year, and a prosperous one. Sean, you're next.
Boy, you're a hard act to follow. as we get into holiday season and had this discussion quite a few times, you think about all the traditions that you had as a kid and you had growing up with aunts and uncles and grandparents, even your siblings, and you start to think about them now as you're starting new traditions with people in your life. And the one thing that I have repeatedly learned this holiday season is that nothing you do for another person or to assist another person is trivial. Whether it's sending them a Christmas card or, just wishing somebody Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or good tidings when you're in a store or a church, at a restaurant or whatever. It means a lot, especially this time of year. And, one of the things I'm thankful for is my beautiful wife, Kelly, who has introduced me to new traditions and has made me see that Christmas is really an enjoyable time of the year. And even though you're busy and you're doing 8 million things at once and you're trying to make everybody happy and find time to get off work, even though this is the end of the year, end of the quarter, end of the month, end of the week, oh my Lord, that there's still time to be happy about the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the other thing I'm thankful for is to have good friends and colleagues like my co-host, Bill. He started his radio show with us 4 or 5 years ago, and he's like, I'm going to do a show about insurance. And I'm thinking, well, this will be good Dominics for people at 7 o'clock at night. And I realized that there's a lot of information that's out there, and there's a lot of things, as he just said, that we don't understand. And to have someone that you can trust and listen to is more valuable than you give it credit at that first glance. So I'm happy to have Bill as a good friend, as an advisor. I've said this a number of times. Bill has been invaluable to me as I navigate insurance. And yes, you cannot go anywhere anytime soon because when I get to Medicare enrollment, I'm certain I won't know what to do. But thank you for being there, my friend. For all the people at WLCB, and that includes our listeners, thanks for tuning in, sharing your time with this station and its producers. We want to entertain you, we want to inform you, and at least of all, we want to keep you company. So I want you all to have a very good holiday, a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Kickin' Kwanzaa, a celebratory Hanukkah, or whatever holiday you celebrate. Enjoy your time with family and friends.
Amen, brother. Thank you, man. Love you, man.
Love you too.
And you guys have a wonderful holiday, a Merry Christmas, safe, and we will see all of you in calendar year 2025 on January 7th. I believe that's the next Tuesday show. Have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy Hanukkah to my Jewish friends, and have a wonderful week. Stay tuned. We'll be back to your Insurance Corner at 101.5 FM. WLCB Slade's Corner. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Take care.